So for this project, you're gonna need half of a paper plate, and I used the back because the front was coated and it doesn't look good when you color over it, so you want like a plain paper plate. You're also gonna need like a silhouette of a turkey head, a beak, some googly eyes. You're also gonna need some yarn. I have white, red, yellow, orange, and brown, and I cut them about 13 inches so that I could have plenty of room to weave them, a brown and red crayon, and some glue. So what I've done is I've just gone ahead with a regular black marker and I've marked off 5 lines that go from the outside and they stop at that inner circle. This will allow us to be able to cut on these lines later and make a loom or structure for our weaving. So let's go ahead and color our paper plate brown first, and it's going to be a little tricky because there are bumps and different parts of our paper plate that we need to cover up, but just do your best and it will look good. All right, now that that's colored, we're gonna get our scissors and we are just gonna cut right on those black lines, and when we get to the end, we're gonna stop. That way we can kind of have bigger sections where we can wrap our yarn around, and it won't go all the way through because we still need a belly for our turkey. So that's what the circular part will be. Once we have cut on all of our lines, go ahead and pick one of your colors to start with, and we can start weaving. So I picked my red, and we're gonna go in a pattern. So we're gonna go above, below, above, below. And what I'm doing is I'm just picking up my sections and I'm weaving through. So you see how my red goes above, below, above, below, above, below. That's what we want for our first layer. Our second layer of yarn is going to be the opposite. So we're gonna start below and then we're gonna take it above, below and above, below and above. This is going to help our yarn stay in place and be more secure. It's also good to alternate on our patterns because it looks really, really good. If this is tricky for you, the good part is we're not going to secure our yarn until the end. So you just keep trying until you get it. We're just going to alternate our pattern each time. So I'm going to start above again, and then I'll move to below. Above and below. Above and below. And just moving our yarn down each time so it stays secure and does not fall out. Then I'm going to go ahead and start below with this one, and then I'll take it above, below, above, below, above. And I think I just have one more left, so I'll go ahead and do the opposite pattern for that, and then we will have to look at it and see if we can secure our yarn on the back. And I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some tape. I'm going to turn my turkey over, and then because I've got a lot of yarn hanging off the end, I'm just going to grab my scissors and trim that up so I don't have as much to tape down, and it won't be as hard for it to stick. So I'm going to trim that side, I'm going to trim a little bit on this side, and then I'm just going to use the tape to secure the yarn to the back because I don't want to see the loose ends on the front. I want everything to be nice and clean and neat. It just depends on how you fold it, how many pieces of tape you're going to use. I tend to sort of fold mine up and twist it just a little bit so that I can put my tape over the entire bunch of yarn, and then any that sticks off the bottom you can just fold back up. It's clear tape is what I used so that it wouldn't show on the front if we did have any running over onto the front. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then once we get that secure, we can put on our turkey's face. Alright, so now that we have our yarn done, our weaving part done, let's go ahead and finish our turkey's face. So I've got my silhouette of my turkey head. I'm going to run some glue on the beak and attach that somewhere in the middle of the circular part on top, because the squarish part on the bottom, the neck, that's what we're going to be gluing down. So I'm going to go ahead and press that down. And then we're gonna get 2 googly eyes, which I think makes this project extra fun. And I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the bottom and then press those down. And you'll see that I had a little bit of trouble on these because they're so tiny. I almost wish I had got some bigger ones, but that's okay. It still looks good either way. Just make sure you have plenty of glue because these guys, they can be tricky. Some of them are self-adhesive, which means they're like stickers, and there's like a little part you can peel off the back and just stick it down. But I don't think these were, and if they were, they were definitely too tiny for me to get anything off the back. They're pretty small. So just make sure that you press them down nice and that they're not going to fall off because they are just a little bit heavier than the paper that we're using. So really make sure. I did get a little glue on the front of mine, but it will dry clear, so don't worry about that. And then I'm going to take my red crayon. I'm going to color on a little gobbler for my turkey, and this is really just, I mean, you can color any shape because these things are crazy looking. And then you're gonna flip this guy over, put some glue on the bottom of the neck, and then we're just gonna stick it down in the middle on the bottom of your turkey's belly and smooth it down so it stays. So your head will be loose at the top just so that you can see your beautiful weaving behind, but send me a picture and have fun, guys.